Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books. Talk about one specific book at first, and then for you guys to vote on a couple other books. This is the Pusheenicorn pick video for Daughters of Neri, which was the previous pick, which was on my seasonal TBR for March to August, May to August. Time. What is it? I finished the book last month. When did I finish this? What month is it? It's August now. I finished this in July.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna set it up here. This cover, by the way, it's just gorgeous. Like the foiling, obviously there's some glare because it's a library book and whatever, but yeah, it's beautiful. They're like, the artwork is so amazing on them specifically, like on their faces and everything. And then there's the foiling for like their jewelry. It's just beautiful. So this book is young adult fantasy. It is African inspired as far as the world. Gods have been defeated, and these two girls who are part of a prophecy are separated at birth almost, like in their infancy. They are twins, and so yeah, they're part of this prophecy that the big bad doesn't want to happen. They are raised apart from each other, not knowing that they even are a twin. This big bad, the ruler, I believe they called him a king, and he is going and slaughtering whole villages because he really does not want this prophecy to come true. One of these twins grew up in one of these outer villages, and this is all very early on, and it's referenced in the synopsis and everything. She manages to get away, and the other twin grew up in the palace, actually in court. She is treated less than because everyone knows that she is, illegitimate. She was dropped off basically like, here, this kid has noble blood, but is an illegitimate child, someone take care of her. And because she has noble blood, she is allowed to be at court and everything, but she's definitely shunned a bit. So there is magic in this world, and things ensue in the plot as they learn more about themselves and kind of learn more about the world around them. So before I get into any kind of spoilery things, I'll put a timestamp so you can skip over spoilery stuff. Before I get to spoilery stuff, I will just say that I definitely enjoyed this book. It wasn't a 5-star read. It wasn't like, oh my God, I love this so much. But it was pretty solid, and I'm intrigued, and I do want to continue with the series whenever the second book comes out. On my 1 to 10, I gave this a 6.8, which translates to 3.5 Pusheenicorns. So I'll get into spoilery stuff now. You can skip over it to get to the voting for the new books part. Again, I'll have the timestamps, so on the bar, you should be able to just skip ahead. So spoilery pros and cons. I will start with the cons first. I think the biggest thing here is we are following both of their points of view, right? We're following both sisters, and their names are Nala and Sinai. Nala is the twin who grew up in the villages, or in a village, and hers was attacked and everyone was slaughtered, but she escaped via using some magic that she didn't know she had, because neither one of them know that they have anything special about them. So she escapes, and she ends up out in the woods with these other people who have escaped from their villages being slaughtered. And her chapters just kind of dragged for me. I don't know why. It wasn't like she wasn't necessarily like a compelling character. I just, what was going on with her was so much less interesting than what was going on with Sinai, for me personally. At the very beginning, I was really intrigued with Nala. She seemed like this wild, free spirit, just doing whatever she wants. And then she got with these people, and she just was there. I felt like her personality didn't shine like I was expecting it to based on our introduction to her. I also wish we had seen more of the Eze. I don't know if it's Easy or Ezzy. I can't remember. There was a pronunciation guide, but it wasn't for names. Yeah, not for names of people. I'm pretty sure it's Ezzy. It could be Easy though. It's just Easy. At any rate, I wish we had seen more of him. He was the villain, the king, the ruler, and he was kind of just kept at a distance. We did see him once, I think. Yeah, we really only saw him once or twice before the ending part. And it was referenced that he was like super cruel and scary and everything. And I mean, we heard about like him sending his soldiers to slaughter villages, but we didn't see his individual cruelty up close. You know what I mean? And so it felt like there was some missing tension there. There could have been more tension, because it's just like we're told he's a big, bad, scary guy, but we never really see him being that big, bad, and scary. We just hear about it. And yeah, I think it just could have been way more tense and way more like, oh God. So that was a little bit lacking for me. And then this is like probably really nitpicky, but the constant magical blackouts, like they are magical and they don't know it. And they're like, their magic is coming out, but they're not sure what the hell is happening. And so many times, and it was like the ending of chapters so many times, where it's like, she felt this overwhelming whatever, and then everything was light, and then she just fell to darkness. And it happened like multiple times where both of them were like falling to darkness, or all of a sudden everything was black. And then they wake up the next chapter and like everyone's like, oh my God, this crazy thing happened. And it happened like a few too many times where I was kind of like, okay, I get it. And like I said, that's like super nitpicky. It was just something I noticed like after a few times. I was kind of like, can we stop with this, please? The pros for me though, Sanai, loved her chapters. She was at court, like I said, so she had a lot more of like the political intrigue and this and that kind of thing going on. And she had like relationships that we saw that were, I don't know, more fleshed out. I cared more about. I was more invested in her friendships and her relationships with people. The mythology is great, and I hope that there's even more of it in the next book. I'm sure there will be, because of how it all ended and that they found each other, and you know, they're part of this prophecy relating to the gods and the goddesses. So I imagine there's going to be even more of that in the next book, and I'm very excited for that. And the cultural lore and traditions and everything in this book, and the language, I really loved it. There's lots of Igbo language used, like a fair amount of Igbo language. There's also some Yoruba, Nisinri as well, a little bit, and a couple of others also that are just weaved in throughout. And for me, language can really help build a world, especially if it's based on a real life culture or country, whatever. And it just like, I just really like it when authors like lean into that and aren't afraid to use these words. Like in their dialogue with each other, these characters were using these words, and even in just the text of the book, these words were used, and I feel like a lot of it you just could understand via context, like what it was referring to. Occasionally there would be like, if there was a needed like explanation, there would be like a brief, and I just felt like she worked it in really well, the author, Rennie K. Amayo. I feel like she just worked that in very seamlessly, and I really like how she did that, and I like that she leaned into those languages and using them. So yeah, there we have it. A great pick, you guys. Thank you very much. And now for the next 3 books that you guys are gonna vote on for me. I have a feeling I know which one's gonna win just based on popularity. The main character of this first book has, their name is the same name as my mom's. That's really cool. And the book in question is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. And the main character's name is Renata, which is my mother's name. So our main character, Renata, was a child that was kidnapped by the king, apparently, and brought to the palace. She is a Robari, which is apparently the rarest and most feared of the magical Moria. Apparently she can steal memories, and this is what enacted the king's wrath, which killed thousands of her own people. And now she is a whisper working against the crown. And then Des, who is a commander of her unit, is captured, and she's on a mission to get him back. Oh, apparently it's a romance. Says she will do anything to save the boy whose love makes her place among the whispers bearable. She's got to convince her former captors that she remains loyal as part of her mission to get in and infiltrate and save Des. And then, as she grows more invested in all of this intrigue and this game she's playing to get him back, she discovers a secret about her own life that could change the entire fate of the kingdom. Sounds pretty intense. I've heard very good things about this. It has a 4.0 rating on Goodreads with 2,000 ratings. The next book is The Unmarked Girl by Janelle Fronten. Unlike everyone else on Mira, Yara has no birth line markings. She was found as a baby by a Fotak and taken to the Fotak village, despite how strange she looked. With an unknown origin, unmarked skin, and unusual features, the elders were extremely wary that the baby could be a secret weapon of the Skotads. Mysteriously, however, Yara could withstand the rays of Sunstar, which no Skotad ever could. She was allowed to stay. 16 years later, still without any clues to her origins, Yara is training to be a warrior for the Fotak tribe. Now, an eerie, soft voice begins to haunt her dreams. It only asks one question every time. Yara Star, do you know who you are? Hey, that rhymes. This one is like super unknown. I think this is an indie author. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember where I even heard about it. On Goodreads, it has a 4.09, but with only 23 ratings. And the next book is Aisha at Last by Uzma Jalaluddin. This says it is a modern-day Muslim Pride and Prejudice for a new generation of love. Aisha Shamsi has a lot going on. Her dreams of being a poet have been set aside for a teaching job so she can pay off her debts to her wealthy uncle. She lives with her boisterous Muslim family and is always being reminded that her flighty younger cousin Hafsa is close to rejecting her 100th marriage proposal. Though Aisha is lonely, she doesn't want an arranged marriage. Then she meets Khalid, who is just as smart and handsome as he is conservative and judgmental. She is irritatingly attracted to someone who looks down on her choices and who dresses like he belongs in the 7th century. When a surprise engagement is announced between Khalid and Hafsa, Aisha is torn between how she feels about the straightforward Khalid and the unsettling new gossip she hears about his family. Looking into the rumors, she finds she has to deal with not only what she discovers about Khalid, but also the truth she realizes about herself. I'm here for it. And this has a rating of 3.9 and that is out of 13,052 ratings. So pretty promising there. So as always, the voting, oh, actually, will it be up there? I think YouTube took the poll feature away. Frick, if they did, then the link will be in the description for a Google form for you guys to vote there, but I really hope you can still do the poll thing. I don't know, at any rate, there will be a link for you to vote. Either it'll be up there or it'll be down in the description. So please vote which book you would like to see me read for my Pusheenicorn pick for my upcoming seasonal TBR. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.